Hello and welcome to another edition of Issues with JIDE. Here we'll talk about actions and inactions of those who shape our political and national landscape and how these impact us positively or otherwise. I'm Ibrahim Shita. Today on the show, outrage, fresh posters trail Peter Obi's arrest, detention in London as UK authorities refuse to apologise. And later on the show, INEC asks tribunal to dismiss Atiku's petition challenging Tinubu's victory. In the course of the program, we'll take your questions, but first subscribe to our YouTube channel and drop your questions in the comment section. I have joining me via Zoom, the maestro himself, Babajide Kolade-Otitoju. It's good to see you again this Saturday. BKO.
Good evening, Brian. Good to see you.
Great.
Happy fasting season.
Right, happy fasting. Yeah, we hope you're fasting as well.
Oh, I'm not.
Okay, fantastic.
Not.
Right then, so let's get into the topic. Peter Obi's London arrest and detention saga has sparked outrage as the British government refused to give a clear account of what led to the arrest and detention or even apologize. This is just a few weeks after a leaked audio of a conversation between him and the Bishop, Oyedepo, made the rounds online. What do you think is happening, and what are the possible implications of these recent events on his political image?
I don't know exactly what the matter is, but I know that in the past, the British authorities wound up his company in the UK. I think over tax-related issues. Although some supporters of Peter Obi claimed that it wasn't the government that wound up the company, that it was Obi and his people's decision to wind up the business. We have also had stories that he was arrested because of an impostor, that somebody had been committing crimes in his name. All of the alibis, all of the explanations that Obi's supporters have given are all in the realm of speculation, and there is no element of truth that can be validated in all of the explanations that they have given. Remember that after his arrest, Obi supporters told us that in fact, the media team, the Obi media team told us that the British authorities have apologized. Obi came out promptly to say that he had no evidence that the British authorities had apologized for harassing, arresting, and detaining him on April 7 at the Heathrow Airport. So, if his media handlers who come out to lie openly that British authorities had apologized, that it wasn't Obi that they wanted to arrest, that his arrest was a mistake, why would anyone expect me to believe some of the earlier explanations that they had given? The best that we can hope for is for the British authorities to come out and tell us why Peter Obi was harassed, arrested, and detained. They've got to be able to explain to us. And for somebody as important as a presidential contestant, one of the front runners in the presidential race, I think the Britons should be able to terms, reached out to British authorities. Their response was neither here nor there. It was a very short response. We do not comment on individual matters. The nation also sought explanation for Obi's arrest. Again, they stress that they do not comment on matters involving individuals. So we are left to wonder what exactly it is that Obi has done. And it was wise of Obi to quickly come out to disown the lying press statement made by his team to the extent that an apology had been issued. For them, they were trying to cover him in glory. They were trying to launder his image. But Obi saw that, he saw clearly that it could worsen his matter. Because at this stage, Ibrahim, we do not even know whether he was deported. No information whatsoever. All that we know is that he go and sniff people like Wole Soyinka, because they assume that every Nigerian coming into their country must have illicit drugs on him. Such harassment, such indecent treatment will any offense. If Peter Obi had committed any offense, they need to let us know the offense he has committed, instead of just being silent. And Nigerian officials too have been silent. No one has been able to offer the press any form of explanation. And Obi has kept quiet since he returned. He has not spoken to anyone on the pattern of questioning, on what they asked him, what they asked him while in detention. So it's a very, very unclear situation that we have found ourselves on Obi's matter. And I'm not surprised that some of Obi's handlers, especially his media, the Obidati media team, are even trying to blame Nigerian officials for what has happened. They pointed to the fact that they accused Lai Mohammed, the Minister of Information and Culture, of trying to demarket Peter Obi the best way that he can, by accusing him of treason. Lai Mohammed is on record to have asked Peter Obi to clarify his claim that the conversation between him and Bishop Oyedepo, in which he described the 2023 presidential election as a religious war, as Lai Mohammed asked for clarification when Peter Obi said that the audio clip was fake. So he not only said it was fake, he also said that it was doctored. So Lai Mohammed asked him to explain what exactly he was saying. Was he saying that the conversation never took place? Now, if he's saying that it was, since he said it was doctored, which portion of that interview, of that conversation was doctored? Lai Mohammed will want to know whether it was in the where he said thank you, daddy, or where he said that it was a religious war. He wanted to know. He wanted Peter to commit himself by clarifying concretely that the conversation did not take place. I think that the people in government are convinced that the interview took place because all of the tools that are usually deployed to find out if an audio clip or even a video is fake pointed to the fact that this particular one was real. So it was clear that Lai Mohammed was trying to commit him to say the conversation never took place. But again, Peter Obi refuses to be drawn into that kind of conversation. He has refused to respond to Lai Mohammed. He has refused to confirm or deny that that conversation took place. So Obi's minders are convinced that people like Lai Mohammed are trying to set a trap for him. They are trying to embarrass him. They are trying to demarket him. They are trying to destroy his image before people who voted for him so that he will come out bruised. That is what the Obidati media team is convinced that Lai Mohammed and others are doing. And they are already even thinking that his travels in the UK had something to do with some Nigerians bent on embarrassing him, bent on silencing him, bent on getting him to leave Nigeria in untimely fashion.
Amazing.
So this is what it is.
Absolutely. Let me take a few comments and then I'll see whether there are some of these comments that you need to respond to. Honesty, Babalola said, Jide, don't you think Obi's embarrassment by Britain is instigated by the APC government? Voila. Honorable Musiba Shokunbi says, if it's Tinubu in this UK situation, all these, he's using invectives, and I think we've advised us to speak straight, speak to the issues, not attacking people. Fabian Akaise says, the way Peter Obi has portrayed himself to the world as a saint who has never been corrupt, even through the Pandora Papers, prove otherwise. This is a sign that PO's political career is done. That's Fabian Akaise there. So would you want to respond to the first question that says that it's the APC witch hunting Obi on another soil?
I don't know exactly. I don't know. It's difficult to say that APC is behind its problem, especially in a foreign land. I don't know what facts are in the hands of the British authorities. I don't know what petition they got from anyone. It could even be somebody opposed to Obi's ideas and all that. It doesn't have to be APC as a party. An individual could send in a petition that could prompt them to investigate him, to arrest him, try to get some information. We all know, at least those of us who are a little current, we know that his business outfits had issues with British authorities in the past. You know, we also know that the West have no regard for African leaders. We may pretend as much as we want. It's not as if they like us as a people. They have no regard for us, and they will be happy to embarrass any Nigerian leader that puts himself in such a situation. Obi ought to come out in transparent fashion. Everything is not politics. You have an image, you have a name to protect. You are arrested in London. That cannot be denied because you tacitly admitted to the fact that, yes, you were humiliated and nobody has apologized. He should be able to tell Nigerians, he should be able to tell the story of what he went through in the hands of these British people. We've seen Nigerians arrested in the past and they came out. Once the issue was resolved and they got back home, they told the story of the arrest. So what has he got to hide that he doesn't want to let Nigerians know the kind of questions they asked him and the answers that he gave? He has to come out clean. He has to be transparent in this matter. Yes, I was arrested, but I told them, look, I have nothing to hide. My life is as clean as a whistle, this and that. Not to just come to Nigeria and just refuse to talk. When you refuse to talk, it breeds all sorts of speculation and all that. People will be wondering. It's not enough to simply say that the APC people probably instigated this arrest. But for what? In fact, if I suspect that APC members instigated my arrest, I will come out and tell Nigerians that this is what happened. These were the questions they asked me. Well, he's kept it to himself. And as I said earlier, we do not even know whether indeed he was deported. But one thing is clear, he came to Nigeria earlier than he planned. So there is something that we do not know. And Obi owes us a duty as a people, even if we are not his supporters. He needs to tell us what happened between him and the British security operatives. What questions did they ask him? How did he defend himself? So it's not a big deal. It's the one making it a big deal.
Okay.
Perhaps there is something to hide.
Maybe.
It has to come out, and life is not all about politics.
Absolutely.
It needs to come out and tell us. Many people see him as a role model. They see him as an incorruptible Nigerian. He has to maintain that good name. If he refuses to talk and suddenly some revelations begin to come out, then Nigerians will say, oh, so this fellow is not even who we thought he was.
Right.
So B has to come out and tell us what happened. Why is he refusing to talk? He came back, he just buttoned up his lips. He needs to tell us what happened. Now we are seeing his media aides lying to Nigerians about the fact that the British authorities apologized when they didn't apologize. Obi was the one who came out to say, no, they've not apologized to me. I have no evidence that they've apologized. If they will apologize, the apology letter will come directly to Peter now. Why do these people believe in propaganda that much? Why were they trying to lie to Nigerians?
Right.
So Obi needs to come clean, tell us what happened,
Right.
We wish him well.
Well, Nelson Adufe says, I guess this Obi's allegation should be well defined and Obi should not be dealt with because he contested. If there's anything he has done wrong, let it be made public. I think that's just what you said. But because of our time, let's change tack by looking at INEC, INEC reaction to Atiku's petition and co. INEC asked tribunal to dismiss former Vice President Atiku Abubakar's petition challenging Tinubu's victory that the APC fulfilled the requirement for it to have been declared the winner of the 2023 presidential election. What's your reading of this?
Before we go into this, let me respond to something that I saw on one of Nigeria's TV stations.
Okay.
TV stations bring people to analyze about this election. Some of them are so biased and lack the requisite knowledge to the point that they sit there and simply mislead Nigerians. If I was sitting with some of those people, it's not An on-air personality does not necessarily qualify to be a journalist. Has he ever written a story? Has he ever covered an event, a live event? Has he done documentaries? There are many things that show to you who a journalist is. We just call anybody we see on TV journalists. Ignorant people who do not know their right from their left. They sit on TV and spew absolute nonsense. And people will be calling them journalists. Journalists, my foot. So the guy said, how is INEC independent when all INEC does is to defend one political party? This is the height of ignorance. One, it is not even true that INEC defends only a political party. Where INEC defends its own, it defends its the way it ran the elections, whether it's an off-season election or not. INEC is duty bound to defend its performance, to show that it performed well. And there is nobody with an election petition that will not join INEC. So when you join INEC, it is obligatory for INEC to defend itself. Now, to combat the silly claim that INEC defends only one party, in Osun State, PDP won the governorship election. APC went to court to challenge it. APC won at the appeals tribunal. But the APC won at the state election petitions tribunal. But at the level of appeal, PDP reclaimed its victory. The matter has gone to Supreme Court. INEC has gone there to went before the Supreme Court to say no, those results were not ours. I can tell you today that let's look at a state that was won by the Labour Party, for example. Labour Party won in Abia State. If that matter goes to the Supreme Court or goes to any court for that matter, INEC will go there to defend the conduct of the election, and by extension, defend the victory of Alex Otti. So that is the structure. That is how it happens. INEC that conducted the election will go before the court to say we did everything right. It's not a matter of defending a political party. Our people, I just don't understand our people. Is it a case of the death of reading or what? Or people out of mischief have simply blocked their brains. They can't even reason logically anymore. It's not INEC's duty to protect a single party. It will go to court to defend its own performance. And in the case of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, INEC declared him winner. The Labour Party and the PDP have said no, he did not win the election. INEC has to go before the tribunal to say, look, this was what we did. These are the reasons why we declared him winner. In doing that, it doesn't mean that they are defending a party. They are defending their own work, their own job, the job that they did. Because they were joined. They were joined in the suit. If they were not joined in the suit, they will stay away. But they were joined in the suit. And any party that fails to join INEC in this kind of matter has lost the case. You've got to join INEC. So that is that. INEC went before the tribunal to say, look, we did not do anything wrong in pronouncing Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu winner. And INEC started by saying, look, Tinubu does not need to win Abuja before he can be validly elected. Tinubu had 25% in 29 states. which was even higher than the threshold. The threshold is 24. He won 5 extra states. The candidates behind him, Atiku and Obi in that order, none of them won up to 24 states. So INEC explained that there is no special status for Abuja and that you do not need to win Abuja to be elected president. Some of them are not elected. Nobody will draft a law with that intention in mind. So INEC effectively took care of that and said, look, he did not need to win 25 states. He won 20. He did not need to have 25% in Abuja. He won 25. He had 25% in 29 states. That is sufficient, more than sufficient. INEC also argues that whatever the infractions that happened in the election, they were not sufficient to render the entire election a nullity. And I think I agree too, because if you are saying cancel all the elections, even you that you have come up with that idea, the state that you won, the elections there will also be cancelled. We cannot cancel an entire election because of infractions in only a few places. No one does that. In Lagos, for example, INEC recorded that there were disruptions in 84 polling units. And we have more than 13,000 polling units in Lagos. 84 is not even up to 1% of over 13,000. So no one can say, oh, the entire election in Lagos was characterized by violence just because it was recorded in 84 polling units. So that's another argument that INEC advanced, that whatever the infractions, they were not substantial enough for the election to be set aside. Then on the issue, on the argument that INEC hastily pronounced Tinubu winner of the election, INEC said that given the margin of the win, because Tinubu scored almost 2 million higher than the person who was next to him, INEC argued that given the margin of the win, that it was not necessary for it to wait for so long before declaring him the winner of the election. So INEC confirmed that Tinubu scored 25% in Ekiti, Kwara, Osun, Ondo, Ogun, Oyo, Yobe, Lagos, Gombe, Adamawa, Katsina, Jigawa, Nasarawa, Niger, Benue, Akwa Ibom, Edo, Kogi, Bauchi, Plateau, Bayelsa, Kaduna, Kebbi, Kano, Zamfara, Sokoto, Taraba, Borno, and Rivers. These were the states, the 29 states that where Tinubu scored 25%. As far as they are concerned, he was validly elected, and all of the conditions that should be met were met. INEC argued that Atiku did not meet all the conditions necessary for him to be pronounced winner. And one of it was that he must score 25% in 24 states. Atiku didn't get up to 24 states. He didn't score 25% in up to 24 states. Just like Peter Obi did not even score 25% in up to 20 states. So the route to the presidency was already impossible for them, for both candidates, because they did not score 25% in 24 states. They needed to score 25% in 24 states. Obi didn't even score up to 20 states. So this is the thing. This INEC defending his position. Of course, in the course of the week, we saw that INEC claimed that IREV did not upload results to retitle the IREV portal because of the glitches that it suffered, that it was difficult. And it got its IT team to prepare a report explaining why it did not, that when it got to the presidency, that they couldn't upload those results. Perhaps some individuals were at work, because Nigeria recorded millions of attacks over the period of 5 days, millions of cyber attacks, and a lot of them were actually targeting INEC's website and all that. So it is possible that INEC decided to play safe so that the results will not be compromised. But that is for INEC to defend. It is not my duty to defend INEC. It's just my duty to report what transpired in the courts, and this was what transpired in the courts.
Yeah, absolutely. Latif Audu says obedience would soon turn back to him to become disobedience with their God opened their when their God opened their eyes to the reality. That's a comment. Now, Oluchukwu Kleto says, good evening, erudite scholar JIDE Otitoju. I cannot agree less on the election matters. You are doing a good job. Kleto Oluchukwu, Sunday from Ogun State. Fabian Akaize says, I'm sure all of the emotional former APC supporters that left the party in the name of Muslim ticket and joined the PDP or Labour Party will be crying their eyes out and trying to get back to the APC. Well, it's just a party. Many questions here. BK, although you already responded to one of the comments here, which said that you appear to be supporting INEC, and I wonder on what basis would your comment be termed as being supportive of the Independent National Electoral Commission, because they believe that a lot of people do not agree with the outcome of the election. For instance, you could see the breakback between Obedience and Professor Wole Soyinka, and also Chimamanda Adichie's comments on the election and a response to Wole Soyinka, and then Wole Soyinka and Dati himself. What do you make of all of this brouhaha? Very quickly, in less than a few minutes.
Well, our people are very emotional. We know what some of us have invested. We know the risk that we have taken to be who we are. People coming out, abusing me and saying, oh, it's APC. When the APC people were attacking me, calling me tomato journalist and all that, where were these people? Many APC people hate me because I talk about the inefficiencies of the Buhari regime, especially in the area of security. We don't all have to be Peter Obi supporters. All some of us want is to see our country work. Nobody will be able to record where I advise Nigerians to vote for Tinubu, that he represents the change. You will never catch me saying that. I'm too professional to go on TV to say, Tinubu is the best that we have. It will not happen. Yet, there's nothing they will not say, oh, he's Tinubu person, oh, he's INEC. I'm reporting what INEC said. Now, some people think that, oh, that means that he's an INEC supporter. This is rubbish now. Let's face it. What INEC said in court is what we are reporting. And some of the courts have already even declared that they have no power. The Constitution does not say that INEC must transmit electronically. They gave INEC two options: manual and electronic. So we cannot, my own view is that the 2023 presidential election was an election in which the views, the desires of Nigerians came to pass. Many people got into the National Assembly that if you ask them some months back, they will not have believed that they will win. 20 governors failed to defend their state. They lost in the presidential election, 20 out of 36. It has never happened in our history. All the people being emotional, banging their heads on the wall, let's ask them, was there any election we had in which 20 out of 36 governors failed to deliver their party, failed to deliver for their party in their states in one presidential election? It has never happened, but it happened this time. It was an election that confounded many people, surprised people. Many people had been in the National Assembly for so many years. This was the election that retired them. And Peter Obi and his supporters, if they want to be honest, will admit that the transparent not have won, including even the Senate race in Abuja that the Chikingibe won. In the past, they would simply have written. So we thank God that we are alive. We will see better elections in our country. We will continue to get better. This is the thing. INEC should continue to invest in technology. The people using violence to win election, we will still catch up with them. The system will still catch up with them. The same way that Beavers has helped us to make our elections better. We will find a solution to the idiots who are using violence to stop people from voting. We will find, someday, we'll be able to solve that. And our elections will keep getting better. It's not about an individual, it's about our country. And Nigeria will get to the promised land.
Absolutely, BKO. We are actually out of time. And that's our show for today's edition of Issues with JIDE. Special thanks to you, Babajide Kolade-Otitoju, for those insightful analyses, as always.
Thank you, Ibrahim. We'll keep doing this, and hopefully, by our efforts, more and more Nigerians will be enlightened, and they will stick with us because we invest everything into this because we want a better country. A better country shall happen in our time.
Right. And thank you to our audience for joining us on every edition. You can see the program again anytime by subscribing to our YouTube channel, TVC News Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button to get the latest information. You can also follow us on our social media platforms at TVC News NG. I'm also at Ibrahim TVC News. On behalf of the rest of the team, I'm Ibrahim Shita. See you again next edition. Bye for now.